Comparison to other people isn't your real problem. It's a symptom to your problem. If you find yourself constantly comparing yourself to other people, whether it be in your work, your creativity, your relationship, your life, based on someone else's Instagram or hearing about it, it isn't usually that you don't have enough confidence. It's because you weren't shown how to understand who you actually are and haven't been taught how to embrace and trust that you get to be yourself, that it's safe to be yourself. The moment you feel like you can stand in who you are and you trust that regardless of what other people think about you, you are worthy of being who you are. Not because you force confidence, but because you decondition and realize that you weren't meant to be like everyone else. Like from the very beginning, from being a child. And I see this now being a mom to a young child of, she's a baby and she is already herself. Like she already has a full personality with full gifts, and like she is a fully formed, not just person, but like a fully formed soul. She doesn't need anyone else to tell her who she is, and neither did I, and neither do you. But unlike my daughter, we adults have to do some deconditioning, some shedding to reclaim ourselves. And it's for adult us, it's for little us, and it's for future generations to come. So welcome into Soul Footing Guidance. If you're identifying with comparing yourself to other people or judging yourself, doubting yourself, feeling self-conscious, especially in comparison to other people, I think it's really important that we name how human it is. Like we all compare, we all judge. It's part of the human condition. And there's also a part of it where we are very much conditioned to do it. From a young age, we are taught all the things that aren't acceptable about us, or the things that, let's say, our parents don't like or don't want us to be or do. And so we're like, we take a mental note and we kind of like hide it away in a backpack. And we're carrying the backpack our whole life. So it doesn't just go away. It goes into the shadow, where all the parts of ourselves that other people think are unacceptable go to hang out. It can maybe feel like we slowly lose ourselves, or we slowly just become whoever that person wants us to be, or who society wants us to be. Because that's another important part of this, right? Like there are very powerful people that profit off of and encourage us to compare to each other, judge ourselves, feel self-conscious, feel a ton of shame. Like shame is very profitable. So it's actually radical and liberating to move into a life where you don't actually need to compare yourself to anyone anymore. And there are people that are going to work really hard to keep your eyes on that screen comparing. So often when people are comparing themselves, judging themselves, feeling self-conscious, part of it is that a lot of us don't even know who we are under all the conditioning, right? There's been so much stuff put in that backpack and you haven't even realized you were carrying a backpack, let alone what's in it. So it can be part of the process to even figure out, like, what have I had to disown? Like, what have I been not allowed to be in certain environments, especially childhood with parents, larger family systems, school? What was not acceptable in all of these environments about me? Like, I can use myself as an example of being really talkative and really loud in school. And that's not really allowed. So eventually that became something where it went in the backpack. And we all have those things, right? Where it's like, to get through the thing that we're dealing with, we put the things in the backpack. And in that, we don't actually know who we are, how are we meant to operate, what is us. We were taught to look outside of ourselves. We might think things like, why can't I be like that person? Someone is doing better than me. But a lot of times it's about like timelines, right? Like you see people you went to high school with and they're married with kids and you're like, I thought I would be there. I thought that was going to be my life and it's not. Or, you know, you delayed going to school and so you are comparing yourself to all the people you went to high school with and they are in a completely different place in their career. Or people you went to college with, you know, their career took off and yours didn't, and you're comparing. Comparison often breeds this self-consciousness, right? It does affect our confidence. It affects our trust in ourselves, but also kind of our safety in the world. Like it sometimes makes it feel like we're doing something wrong or we're not okay with where we are or what we're doing or how we're living. And it can also do this thing of like making us really self-conscious about what other people are thinking of us, right? Because we're judging other people, we assume that they're judging us as harshly, if not worse, than what you're doing. And we only really judge other people when we're judging ourselves. It's a mirror, right? The more we're judging someone else, that's how much we're judging ourselves underneath. So we can then feel like, okay, well, I'm going on Instagram or I'm going on social media and I'm comparing myself to all these people. And so what are people going to think about me that I'm not where they're at? Or like, I posted this thing and now I'm really uncomfortable because people are probably thinking this. And it's usually they're thinking this based on what you're already self-conscious about, because we don't actually know what they're thinking. And looking outside of ourselves and comparing ourselves to other people has so many functions, right? Maybe it feels safer to figure out like what everyone else is doing and trying to do something similar, or just knowing like where we stack up against other people. Or comparison and judging is so second nature, like being self-conscious and comparing is so second nature that you didn't even know there was a different way, or you didn't even know you were doing it so much. You didn't even realize like how much you do it. And many of us have been conditioned in this way of comparing and judging and where do we stack up against everyone else for so long that it's hard for us to even know who we are beneath the conditioning, beneath I need to be like this. I need to dress like this. I need to show up like this. It can even be, I need to like the things that other people like, even though I don't. So it can get hard to know, like, who are you, but also what do you like and what do you want and how do you want to be spending your time? So when we don't know what's under the conditioning and we don't know kind of like how we're meant to operate, like what's our natural operating system, that can be really confusing. And these can run generations deep, right? These cycles of people where it's like micro moments of being taught, stay small, stay quiet, don't brag, stay humble. Who do you think you are? You can't do that. People are going to think this about you, so we need to keep everything looking good on the outside, even if you're like really unhappy on the inside. And also that place of if we're witnessing people in our life, like our parents or the people close to us, we see them not feeling like they're good enough, or we see them not trusting themselves. And we see them judging themselves, looking in the mirror and not liking what they see and commenting on it. Or just judging a bunch of other people. we hold on to that. We learn from that. We learn who to be and who not to be based on all of those things. And there's a huge downside, right? Like, we can hold that this is normal and we do it as humans, and also having to hold that when we are trying to be someone who we are not, when we're meant to be different and unique, we actually offer less to the world and less to ourselves when we're trying to match what other people's beliefs about how we should be. We get dimmed. Like, our light gets dimmed and our purpose gets dimmed, and we don't actually get to be who we were always meant to be. So we're meant to be different and we're meant to be unique. And that can be really hard to hold on to, but so powerful when we do. Because when we are ourselves, we actually find the people who we are meant to work with, be around. We feel more comfortable in our own skin. We don't have to look outside of ourselves. So there's a lot of power in it. But there's also that really important piece that we look at of, I'm not giving myself and the world my gifts when I'm trying to be like somebody else. We are meant to impact one another. We are meant to affect each other. And at the same time, we're not meant to be like each other. When we know who we are at our core and we decondition all the things we've been taught to be, we don't even feel the need to compare. We don't even feel the need to judge, because we then know everyone's on their own unique path and everyone's meant to go through different things and everyone is meant to handle it differently. And we can even move into this place of gratitude that everyone has their own different flavor and it benefits everybody else when each person is being themselves. Like, the amount of harmony we feel and the amount of ease when each person in a room feels like they belong just because they are being themselves. So learning our gifts and our shadows and understanding how we're meant to naturally flow, we can start to feel the alignment with our path. Like, we notice we're meeting the people we're meant to meet and we're having the experiences we're meant to have. But not just that, ease and satisfaction and flow that we feel where we're no longer pushing against what's natural to us. Tools like human design and the gene keys are really helpful when it comes to the deconditioning process. A roadmap of, hey, here's some ideas of who you actually have been all this time. And even just knowing what some of those qualities are and contemplating them and reading them, we can start to feel connected to that person that we've always been underneath all the conditioning. So we're not just getting rid of the conditioning and feeling like there's nothing there and we're like, wait, who am I though? Like, I got rid of all this stuff of what people told me I was, what's under there. These systems and these tools really teach you these gifts and how your energy is meant to operate. So we can decondition these patterns, these beliefs, these behaviors that we picked up along the way that were in response to our life that we realize that we no longer need. So if we think of all of that stuff going in the backpack over all these years of stuff that we're like, oh, I have to hide this about myself and hide this. The deconditioning process is taking those things out of the backpack and being like, oh, here are the things I had to put in there. And human design and the gene keys give us kind of a construct for those things that we'll probably find in the backpack. And deconditioning isn't fixing ourselves. I think that part's really important, is we don't want this to get sucked into that like self-development, trying to hate yourself into loving yourself, fixing yourself, healing yourself kind of thing. This is more about removing the layers that have been plopped on top of you and shedding them so that we get to the you that's always been there. And this is also where cycle breaking happens, because a lot of these patterns and beliefs and behaviors didn't start with you. They've been passed down. And it doesn't just have to be in family, right? It's culture, it's society, it's other people's families, these survival strategies that are just in our DNA. So this process moves us into a place where we're no longer intimidated or fearful or worried about what other people think, other people's doubts, other people's jealousy, where we can hold ourselves in a way of accepting that we've always had value, that we've always been worthy, and that we have the right to exist as ourselves. And so we don't need to collapse into guilt or collapse into shame, especially about making other people feel uncomfortable. We can hold this center of, I'm not actually hurting anyone else by being myself. And if I am hurting other people by being myself, they maybe don't have the best interest at heart for me. And another huge part of this process is, in our current time, there is a lot of fear of people being unique and individual. People who are themselves, people who can stand firm in themselves, are not easily controlled. Like when you know what your authority is telling you, and you know what is right for you, and you know who you are, you're an immovable object to certain controlling mechanisms. Shedding these layers and learning how to stand in yourself breeds a lot of self-trust when we're in that place of, other people's opinions can't sway me. Other people's beliefs about what I should do or how I should act don't really matter. And that's intimidating and that's threatening to people who want to control, and to a system that wants to control. We're in a time where we just need everyone to be more of who they are. Like almost thinking about it as like, there's 8 billion people in this world, and let's say we're all a flashlight. Each time someone becomes more of themselves, it's like the flashlight turns on. And the more light that we have in the 8 billion of us, the more good that we do for everyone. The more good that we do for Mother Earth, the more good that we do for each other, the more in service of the whole that we are. And so the time is here to honor yourself and to love yourself and be even more you, and learn how to be even more you. You're ready to be yourself. You're ready to find yourself again. And I'm ready to support you. So apply to work with me on my website, and the link will be in the description. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can join me over on Instagram and TikTok at Soul Footing Guidance. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.